Still very young, the kind of safety that can cover. He's got great range. He's got great size. He's also got an amazing podcast called Inside the Garage. And I hired him at one point. Okay, I said it right there. I gave myself a little love. All right, so he's a great kid, and he's an unbelievable talent. And right now you're in Vegas in a golf cart because the draft's going to be in Vegas. Are you, Kyle, are you anxious? How do you feel this morning?
A little anxious, a little nervous, excited, obviously. I feel like throughout the process, I've kind of just taken a step back and gotten the opportunity to just assess everything and say I'm most likely, knock on wood, going to be a first-round draft pick. So it's the dream no matter where I go. So it's fun at the end of the day.
What kind of NFL player do you envision yourself being?
I would say somebody who's a great locker room guy, good communicator, also produce. I feel like I can be a cornerstone of an organization for however long they'll have me. And I'm just excited to prove all that. So I feel like sky's the limit.
You know, the game is changing, and it's a wide receiver league now more than ever. In your career, I think at Notre Dame, you only gave up one touchdown in like 1,400 snaps. You know, for the people that say, well, it's a safety, what am I going to bet? What would you say to the critics of the position?
Yeah, I mean, I think the game's changing. Obviously, guys like Derwin, versatile guys, are more needed and more looked for, and I feel like I fit that mold. I mean, at one point, everybody was running the triple option, so football's got to change. I feel like this is just part of it. So maybe I'll be another guy to add to that, and 10 years from now, who knows? Maybe there's another 6'4" safety, and they can just look back to me and won't have any questions.
You know, it's interesting. You're leaving college football in a very chaotic time between transfer portal and the NIL. And you're a very heady kid. Let's talk transfer portal. So I see guys leaving all the time. And my concern is, and it's not a huge concern because I would be more concerned if players couldn't transfer. Like sometimes it's a bad fit. But do you worry at all that players now will just like move anytime there's an obstacle, anytime they don't start? Do you think that's an issue potentially with the transfer portal?
Yeah, I think it definitely is. And it sucks because there's that added aspect of like working through stuff like that goes to college football. And there's so many instances where guys don't play until maybe their third year and they have a great year and they
right.
Do great things. But I mean, every situation is not the same. Some are validated. Some are kind of shooting the gun early, but transfer portal is kind of becoming somewhat of a free agency now.
Yeah. Now the NIL, again, I'm for paying players. There's no real guardrails right now. Here's my concern about the NIL is that a kid, if somebody just outbids him, he may not go to a good fit or a good coach. But if a booster steps up and says, here, I'll pay $1 million to be a linebacker, and he doesn't fit the scheme, it's not like a well-run. It's just a big booster in the South has the money. I worry about kids will be seduced just for the biggest check. Am I overstating that, or do you think kids understand that fit is often better than just a check?
Like I said, I mean, every situation is different. I'm sure some guys understand that, and some guys value other stuff past the money. But at the same time, and this is more of a basketball thing, but what I'm worried about is like schools like Belmont or a Davidson, schools that have good basketball programs and are consistent year to year, but may not have the money to recruit or compete with other people. It would kind of weed them out in a way, and then it would be a very top-heavy sport and just league in general. So I'm kind of worried about that, how the younger or maybe less endowed schools will compete with the bigger name schools.
By the way, your dad, Derek Hamilton, was drafted in the NBA, the Nets, if I recall, so he was a heck of an athlete. You got some lineage there. The at Notre Dame, I've always kind of held it to a higher standard. Is there not bitterness, but do you look at it and think, man, oh man, I would have liked to have been paid at Notre Dame. Those practices were hard with Brian Kelly. How do you look at it now that you just missed the NIL?
I mean, we got a little bit of it. Obviously, it was still very brand new, but I mean, definitely bittersweet. But at the same time, I feel like it'd be a little weird and makes getting to the next level not that it's any less important, but maybe less significant if you're making millions in college and go to the NFL where you might be making less. It's kind of a crazy world we're living in now, but I mean, it's a new norm, and I'm all for it. I mean, it's great to see kids make money for themselves, their families, their loved ones, whatever. and having the opportunity to provide at a young age. So, and having an opportunity to figure out how to manage money and financial planning and all that stuff.
Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame safety, is going to be probably a top 10, top 12, top 15 pick. A lot of times in the draft, you do these interviews and, teams sometimes blow smoke. Sometimes. Did you come out of that process and think, I think they kind of like me? I think that is there a team or two that I think if I was being drafted, I would absolutely be looking at the teams and thinking, man, I fit there. They could use a safety. Is there a team or two that you kind of been looking at?
Yeah, hopefully all of them see me as that, somewhere where I'd fit with them. But at the same time, it's kind of weird because I know as much as you do in terms of where I'm going to get drafted, who's going to draft me, who likes me, because this whole process is really just a smokescreen. And there's all these rumors and all these Twitter GMs that put stuff out there. It's kind of a hectic process, but I have no clue at this point.
Yeah. By the way, he just signed a nutrition partnership with Herbalife Nutrition. So you're all dialed in on that. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I was training out at Proactive, which is a training facility north of LA, near Calabasas. So they partnered with Herbalife Nutrition, which is a big nutrition company, to build this facility. And it was top of the line. It was awesome. They had everything for us, from drinks to food to chef, like all this other stuff nutritionally. And it kind of prepared us a little bit for the next level. Like guys like Von Miller, Aaron Rodgers, all of them were training there at the same time. So for us to be getting the same treatment as them was pretty cool.
By the way, is this your phone you're on right now? Because this is the clearest signal, Joey, I have ever seen on a phone.
Is it really?
Oh my God! It's seriously. You have. I can see you more clearly than I can see my producer, who's 20 feet away. So, whatever phone you're using, stick with it. Sign up for a longer plan, buddy.
This is not my phone, but it is. But yeah, it's working so far.
Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame. Good luck, Kyle. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Colin. Appreciate you.
You bet. I had actually 2 teams in the NFL call me because he was on my podcast, and they saw that I did a podcast with Kyle and his friend. Probably would have gotten more. So Daryl Morey did have limitations on, you got 2 players. At least my guy Harden is on the court. Like, I'm getting minutes.
That's what I said at the beginning. As soon as the trade happened, at least I'm getting someone who plays basketball
and loves basketball. I think he loves basketball. James, he loves
it. But he's literally a human body on the floor. Like,
yeah.
Ben Simmons is not playing basketball. We're not talking about a multiple-time MVP, multiple championships type of player. Yeah. Does he even impact your organization in a winning way? What has he ever won?
It's all fair.
I've been done with the saga, but then they brought it back for game 4, so here we are again. Just whenever he's ready to come back, let us know, and then we can start discussing how he's going to impact any team that he's on. So Jay Wright retired a week ago after 21 seasons at Villanova. The 2-time national champion coach said he didn't want to ask his players to commit 100% when he wasn't fully committed. So this morning, he was asked about the possibility of coming out of retirement to coach in the NBA, and this is what he said.
Not right now. Like, that was something, I always thought about. My experience with the Olympics, it kind of scratched that itch. Like, I kind of feel like I did it, a little bit. And I love coaching those guys. Right now, I definitely need a break. Right now, I'm looking forward to this position at Villanova. But honestly, like, down the road, I'd be lying. I don't know what I'm going to feel like.
By the way,
a little crack in the door.
But it also, can't all of us answer questions like this? The media tends to want a definitive answer. And he's like, listen, man, I can't wait for the Villanova thing, but who does know what they're going to think in 3 years?
I prefer this type of answer rather than an absolute definitive answer.
Yeah.
I don't like speaking in absolutes. He's right. What if in 2 years he's miserably bored?
Bored out of his
mind.
mind.
He's like, nope, I still have some left in the tank, and I've spent some time with my family. We vacationed, and we all think it's best that I go back to work for a few more years.
After the 3rd trip to Aruba, he's like, all right, I've done it. I want to get back to the grind.
Right.
I can deal with the Northeast winters. I'm into it. That's
it happens all the time. And then we get very, protective over the fact that you said you were retired. So I don't mind that he left the door open. Now, it is going to continuously put his name in the hat for any big job that comes up. So that is something that you have to deal with, and is why some people answer these questions in absolute answers, so they don't have to deal with that. But, this coach cycle. The Lakers, Kings, and Hornets are looking for coaches already. We imagine there will be some other positions open. I do think he's going to, in kind of the same way that Sean Payton is retired. I think it might be a little bit of a short retirement. Now, Jay, I think, might actually stay retired and might enjoy this new position because it's a new thing to kind of be semi-retired. Like, I'm retired, but I'm still, I still have an office.
Yes.
I'm still dabbling. I still have a bit of a routine.
Sure.
But I'm not going to have to be here every day and travel. Like, you kind of ease back a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Jay Wright coach in the NBA, but I do think that unlike Sean Payton, this is like a very sincere retirement.
Good stuff, Joy, with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd